Good morning. I'm in a little different place, so it's interesting this morning to get used to this. I'm Stacy. This is Loving My Veteran. I'm walking in my shoes this morning. Let me get some coffee because you know it's Monday. I gotta have some. Take a chance to say good morning. A few people gather. Everybody grab your coffee. And I'm gonna sneeze, so you're gonna get the full version of me this hour of the morning. Sorry. Okay. Thanks, hon. All right, everybody got your coffee. Let's get started this morning. Oh, good. I can't see comments again. You gotta love this. So we know we gotta have a second to get this part straightened out. I don't know what's up with the not seeing the comments side, but we'll figure that out in just a minute. Not that that's a relevant part here. All right, now let's see what we got here. See if it lets me do here. Sorry, y'all. You know I'm a little slow this hour of the morning, especially on a Monday. Well, it just kind of doesn't want to do its thing. There.
Sorry.
Now, I'm done sneezing.
Sorry,
Here. Hold
y'all.
on. Well, let me catch it to play it in real time. Okay.
Lets me do here. Sorry, y'all. You know I'm a little slow this hour of the morning, especially.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Now, I can kind of see you. I'm a little behind, but I can see you. Oh, there's Pam's comments now. They're all coming up. Thanks, Pam, because you know I got to have the coffee thing going on this morning. So let me kind of put this where I can see this too. All right. Now that I'm way out of kilter this morning. Good morning. We've had a busy week. Hope y'all had a great weekend. I know that Carl and I did. We did a little things that I enjoy, that he enjoys. Took the dogs down for a walk to the river. Taking the new puppy to the river is always exciting. That it's never been, and he's 7 months old. And I guess he thought he could dig all the way to China. So we'll just see how that goes. Um, what else have we done, babe? The website is almost finished. I will have it done today. I am super excited. Those of us at Loving My Veteran are super excited. So I just wanted to say that we had a lot of new members that we welcomed to the group yesterday. So if you go on the group page, just welcome them. Tell them hi. Tell them thank you for joining our community. So today we are going to talk about avoiding the three S's. Um, we give each other so many tools. We talk about so many things. It is important that we learn about the three S's and how to avoid them. It will sabotage your relationship. And remember, when we talk about relationships, I'm not just talking about your relationship with your veteran. I'm talking about relationships in general. So you can sabotage them easily, but we have to find a way not to. So the way not to is to avoid the three S's. Okay? The three S's are settling, becoming stagnant, and being stubborn. Those are it. That's how we do this. You have to avoid this. Settling. What does that mean when you talk about settling? You know, I find it interesting, and I think I settled for a very long time. In fact, I know I settled for a very long time. I settled for a long time in my relationships with everybody, with my parents, with my brother, with my ex-husband. I was like, you know, this is the best I deserve. Good morning, Michelle. This is the best I deserve. This is what I get. It's not true. That's not true. So we settle for things. We're like, you know, well, it's not the worst life ever. You can do anything you put your mind to. If being, and this comes from my dad, if being a ditch digger is your passion in life, be a ditch digger. Just don't be the worst one. Don't settle for being the bottom of the totem pole worst one. Be the best that you can be at it. So if that's where you're going to settle, don't. If that's what you're going to do, don't settle there. I look at my son, and it's funny because my dad has always used that analogy with all of us. He's always said that with all of us. He's always said to my children, to everybody, I don't care if you dig a ditch, just be the best that you can be. I guess my oldest son really took that to heart. because he played with his Tonka toys in the yard and he dug in the sand. And now my son is one of the best heavy equipment operators for a mining operation that they have. So he took it to heart. He became the best at ditch digging. So that's where I'm saying don't settle. Don't become stagnant. We see this so often with spouses that are like, well, I'm just used to it. This is what I'm going to have forever. I hate my veteran. This is my life. This is horrible, but I'm going to be in it forever. No, you're not. I mean, you can be in it forever if you want to, but don't settle. And I'm not telling you to leave them. I'm telling you to change the relationship. Change you. When you change you, it all trickles down. It's the way it works in the real world. So don't settle. Don't get yourself in this mindset. Well, it's always going to be this bad. And 20 years later, you wake up and you're rolling in the same pile of doo doo. I did it. Not with my veteran, with my ex-husband. 27 years with a narcissist who wanted himself to be first. I rolled in that. You know why I rolled in it? Because I settled. Because it was what was expected. Because it was the norm. Don't roll in it. Don't settle. But you have to change. I had to change. I had to realize in that place that I had to change. And you're right. You have the choice to be happy. So don't settle. If you're getting to where you're finally, what does it say? You will be if you accept the unacceptable. Yeah. If you sit here and you say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is where my life is going to go, and this is how my relationship is going to advance, and you start getting to a certain point and you don't go any further, you're settling. You're settling. Tell them happy. We said happy birthday, Colleen. Well, no, that's always optional with the veteran, but I understand. So don't settle. Don't settle. When we settle, we sabotage our relationships. Whether it's with your boss, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your parent, whether it's with your veteran, whether it's with your friend. I mean, how many times do we go out with friends, like a friend will call, and they'll be like, you want to go get dinner, or you want to go do this? And you're like, oh my God, these people drive me crazy. Yeah, we do that, right? And you really don't want to go, but you go and you settle. Or, where do you want to go eat? And you know that it's like the worst restaurant in town, but they're like, oh, it's just so great. And you go and you settle. And you settle. Don't settle. Settling will sabotage things. The next thing is becoming stagnant. We do this a lot. Everybody does it a lot. We get too comfortable, so we do it a lot. We do it because we're comfy at it. Okay, so when you get comfy at something, you become stagnant in it. I got a pair of a night shirt, a shirt I wear, a big shirt I wear, that I've had forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And it's got like holes in the armpits, and it's my comfy thing, it's where I'm comfortable. And that's okay. But if every piece of clothing I had was that way, and I became stagnant in that, where am I going? I mean, you're not going to go out anywhere decent. What happens to stagnant water? Stagnant water stinks, and it grows mosquitoes. Okay, so we have to understand that becoming stagnant in our relationship is never a good thing. How do you become stagnant when you're doing this? You can't. We make accomplishments. We go through our little accomplishments, and we get them out of the way. And they're actually bigger accomplishments than what you think. Those first accomplishments are huge. Right? They're huge. Those first accomplishments are big. And they cover like big things, like nondescript, non-refined things. And so you're like, oh, well, you know what? We know how to communicate. No, we're better at communicating. And if you don't continue to grow in your communication, you become stagnant. Okay? That's right, Nikki. If you continue to settle, soon the one who is no longer happy, content, and productive is you, and that is dead on right. And when you become stagnant, the same thing happens. When you become stagnant and say, again, you're back to the poor me as well, this is the life I'm going to have. And I tried this and it worked and it made me feel a little better, just a little better. And we made progress, but I'm not going to go further. Right? Well, are you content to be there? Well, that's because you let it sit stagnant. It is an evolution. You know, you can take the greatest swimming pool in the world, fill it full of clean water. It is sparkling blue, chemicals balanced, everything is good. But if you don't turn that pump on that circulates that and keeps that water moving, in a week you'll be able to fish out of it. And that's what I'm talking about, becoming stagnant. Don't become stagnant. Okay? Don't become stagnant. Good morning, Sue. When you become stagnant, you get like that nasty pond of water. So you have to keep moving forward. In the early quotes when we first started Loving My Veteran, and Michelle was talking, and Michelle and I were talking, we talked about evolving together. We talked about evolving together. That was the word. We will change. We will evolve. We do it every single day. We do it. Okay? And then we have to do it. And so when you learn that, and you learn that you can't be stagnant, you'll move forward. Otherwise, you're just a pile of dead, nasty, green, slimy water that has gone from the kiddie pool to the big pool. You may have made that first step, but you stop there. And that doesn't work. And yes, Michelle, evolving together takes two. And that's one of the hardest things that we have to understand. It takes two of us, but there's evolving together that is way bigger. You can evolve together with your partner, okay? With your soulmate, with your spouse, with your whatever. But you can evolve with a family and with a community. And when you have a support structure in place, right? You learn to evolve. You learn how to tweak what you're doing, how to take what's working and use it. In the words of Boone Cutler, it worked and it's still working. Okay? Or you can go down another path that somebody else may have said, hey, this worked for me, and you find out it doesn't work for you in this evolution together, right? That it doesn't work for you. And then you take it and you throw it out the window and you say, I'm glad it worked for you. I'm not bashing it because it's a good theory. I tried it. But it does not work for me or me and my veteran or me and my family or me and my boss or me and whoever you're trying to build that relationship with. So don't become stagnant. Keep learning. Keep evolving. That is why it is so important. It will sabotage your relationship. It will sabotage your relationship with anyone. You have to understand that. Don't become stagnant. Don't settle. These will ruin your relationship. And the most important relationship it will ruin is your relationship with yourself. Because that's the one that's the key here. Your relationship with yourself is the key in this whole thing. Because if we don't learn to love ourselves, if we don't learn that we are stronger than what we think, if we don't learn that our life has value, if we don't learn that we don't have to measure up to other people's standards, if we don't learn those things and continue to use them, we settle and we become stagnant. We don't want to do those things. When you've got to remember that every relationship, every part of your life is a relationship. So you have relationships. We have relationships. Some of us have relationships with God. Some of us have relationships, other spiritual relationships, and that is fine. I'm not judging anybody, but that is your personal relationship with your being. Okay? Then we have to have a relationship with ourselves. We must have a relationship with ourselves. We have to learn that we have to get better and we have to learn to love ourselves. And when you've spent a lifetime being there for somebody else, thinking everybody else's happiness is based on what you can do, and you take it all in, and regardless of your sacrifice, you find that you are bitter, you are angry, you are resentful, and that will sabotage your relationship in a heartbeat. So get right with yourself. Okay? Don't settle. Don't become stagnant. That you can't in your relationship with yourself. Then you take it further to your relationship with your veteran, to your relationship with your family, to your relationship with your children. You don't settle. You don't become stagnant. And it works in that area. It spreads out. It's not a pyramid, it is a spreading out. You take what you learn at your core. You take care of yourself. And when you learn that about yourself and learn to evolve in yourself, you'll go out further. And that is how a relationship works. And that's how we get through these things. I know a lot of people find themselves getting very frustrated. They get very frustrated because they look at Nakia, who I call her a matriarch, who's done this for a very long time, and they're like, well, yeah, she's gotten there, but it's taken her decades, and it has, but it didn't take her decades. It took her a while to decide she was going to do something about it and set her boundaries. But once that process started, her relationship with Richard grew stronger and stronger and stronger to the point it is today. Okay? So it didn't, you don't go from bleh or the little poop emoji to where they are today overnight. It is a lot of steps and a lot of evolution and a lot of not settling and a lot of not being stagnant, and sometimes it requires us to stir the shit water. I was talking to somebody last night, and we were talking about, well, how long Carl and I have been together. Y'all realize Carl and I have been together a year and a half. It's taken me, I've learned what I've learned in a year and a half. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you are in this journey. It doesn't matter where you are in this journey. Just start the journey. We're all in different places. And that's what I'm talking about. Don't settle. Don't be stagnant. Learn to love yourself. I've learned more about me in the last 10 months than I ever knew humanly possible, and I've been in my own body for 54 years. And that's the way it works. And the last S that will absolutely ruin a relationship, talk about sabotage the relationship, is stubbornness. Now, let me go through this again. We already have settling, right? We already have being stagnant. But the one of those three S's that will ruin your relationship, any relationship, is stubbornness. Now, you need me to go back through that one more time? I can promise you I can do this one more time. All right? Stubbornness. Yeah, I had to learn from others who've gone before me. I didn't just wake up and say, oh, well, you can sit here and talk every weekday for a half an hour and people are going to be like, yes, it's changing my life, because it's not that. I've learned it by talking to y'all, by bringing the message together, by learning more about me. That's what happened. But stubbornness will ruin your relationship with anybody, even yourself, better than any of the other of the three S's. Okay? When you become stubborn, how many times have we heard people say, well, we've always done it this way? Well, where the hell did that get you? If you're trying to go forward into something, and you're trying to resolve an issue, and you come up with these suggestions, and people are collaborating, or you're working on your own self and you're collaborating in your own head, and then you go back to, well, I've always done it this way. Where the hell's that got you? Where the hell's it gotten you? This is where it got you. It got you too stubborn. It's gotten you nowhere, because you're not going to change because we've always done it this way. Come on. You know, we've had the conversation over and over again about wanting to go somewhere. So we're going to go somewhere, and we're going to put it in an analogy we get. So me, my veteran, are going to go somewhere. The vehicle we're going to use to get us from point A to point B happens to be the truck, right? That's what we're going to do now. We're going to go from point A to point B. We're going to go in the truck. We've agreed we're going to go somewhere. We've agreed where we are right now is not a good place, and we need to go somewhere. We know what the vehicle's going to be. But both of us leave the keys in the house, right? And then we look at each other and say, do you have the keys? Nope. Do you have the keys? But nobody is willing to go get the flipping keys so we can move from where we are to where we want to go. Because it's their job to get the keys. No, it's your job to get the keys. No, it's your job. Somebody get the keys. And that's what happens when we become stubborn. Or when we've always done it this way. Or when we've always said that. I can't tell you how many times I've said to Carl, but you always bring the keys. They're in your pocket usually. Or he said to me, but you always have the keys. They're in your purse. But you know what? It takes one time of saying that, babe, they're not in my purse, or him saying, babe, they're not in my pocket. And somebody goes into the house and we get the flipping keys. We have to do that in our relationships too. We have to do that in our relationships too. We have to do that in our relationship for ourselves. Okay? We have to do that. Who's going to make that first move? If you are miserable, and I'm not talking about leaving your veteran, so let's get past this, because we love our veteran here, and that is key here. We love our veteran here, and we're all here because we want to fight for our veteran. So let's get that part straight. But if you don't like where you are, flip and change the geography. And I'm not talking about moving out. I'm talking about whatever the geography is that you're not happy with. If you're not happy because you feel like you're not being heard, and because you never tell anybody what's wrong, well then for God's sakes, tell them what's wrong. Change your geography. Change your game plan. You know, I'm a football fan. It is no secret to people. I love football. I prefer high school football. I work all the way on up. I'm a football fan. Okay? Well, when a team runs the same play over and over and over again, and they're getting their butt kicked, somebody gets the playbook, pulls the page out that's crappy, and goes on to another one. Because sometimes you got to change the plan. Sometimes you got to change the playbook. Stop being so darn stubborn. Do you want this as an outcome? Yeah, we get so much. I love this. And I am a true supporter in talking things out and going to therapy if that's what you need. I am a true supporter in that. But how many times do we get, and we get it all the time, I mean, those of us who talk to a lot of people, we get it all the time, I want him to go see a therapist. Okay. For what? What is your desired outcome behind that? What is your desired outcome? So just to say he must go see a therapist, what are you hoping to change by that? What is the desired outcome by that? And instead of sitting here with this mentality that We're going to a therapist because that's what the normal world says we should do. The real world says, oop, we should go to a therapist. What do you hope to gain? If you're doing this, how many times have they gone to therapy in the past and nothing's gotten better because they're holding down a chair? How many times have you done something and nothing has gotten better because you're holding down, you're not buying in, or somebody's not reacting the way it needs to be? Because for your actions to work, there has to be a reaction. And what our goal is for your actions to work, we want a positive reaction. Okay? We need a positive reaction. That's how it works. That's how we wake up in the real world. If you're going to go to therapy, go. But understand what your outcome is. It's so easy for us to say in our stubbornness that our relationship is wrong. That our relationship is wrong because our veteran won't go get help. Guilty. Paul said it. There's a guilty. Raise your hand if you've said it. He's got to change or I'm not staying. He's got to change or she's got to change or my veteran has to change or my life isn't going to work. My veteran has to do this. We've all said it. Raise your hand. Raise your hand because I can raise both of mine. But here's the thing. What is the desired outcome? What is the desired outcome? When you're talking about change, what is the desired outcome? Okay, I don't want to get into explosive fights. I don't want to be sitting there. And my situation was I don't want to be sitting here and having Carl triggered and having him yell at me because I hated it. Because he would get in his space and it'd be like this. I didn't want that anymore. So how did we come to that where we don't get this all the time anymore? We came to that because one day we sat on a porch and I said, hey, what do I do that triggers you? And he said, you yell. It's like, who? Shit. Who had to make the change? We both did. But I couldn't be stubborn and say the only way it's going to work is if you go get therapy. No, the only way it's going to work is if we both buy in and somebody takes that step. And somebody takes that step. So yes, I try very hard not to yell. Am I successful at it all the time? He will sit right here will tell you
Nope.
no. Nope, not. But on the times I am successful at that, we have a productive conversation. So these triggers that went on. Now I'm not saying he doesn't get triggered by dates or events or those kind of things. I'm not saying that. But the triggers, the snap, the want to throw the plate, the picture that he did or I did or whoever did because we triggered each other, that is going away. It's almost all completely gone away because I don't do that. Or I try not to do that. So get out of your stubbornness. Get out of your stubbornness. If you want something accomplished, you want to talk about our biggest argument? This is, and he's sitting right here, so I don't mind sharing it, but one of our biggest arguments on a normal basis, our normal thing is, I'll say to him, hey, I need to run up to the store. We need to go get something.
Well, that shit happens every day.
Okay, I need to go to the store. And then I expect him to think that we're going to the store. And he wants to stay here. And then I'll say, well, after your coffee or whatever, let's run up to the store. Then I get ready before the coffee's gone. And now I'm like, well, are you coming? Well, you know what? You don't have to go. You got to ask for what you want. You got to be willing to make that change. You see what I'm saying? That is important that we do that. Yeah, your outside friends are saying, it's remarkable. But are they getting the perspective? There is a huge difference. People are like, therapy, 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 therapy. I'm not against therapy. They're the ones who have to make the change. How many times have we talked about this with friends or whatever, and even in support groups and other things, and they're like, he's got to change, or my veteran must change, or something must change. What are you willing to do? If the outcome is what you desire, then get over your own stubbornness and make a little change that will affect them, because everything in life is a cause and effect. And when you do that, your relationship will improve and you won't sabotage your relationship. Okay? This is the pattern. This is how it works. This is what we do. You want to ruin your relationship? Settle. I'm not talking, y'all, everybody thinks I talk about finance. It's not about financially settling. Although if that's your game, do it. But if you don't like your relationships the way they are, whether it is with your veteran, whether it's with your family, whether it is with your job, whether it is with your friends, don't settle. What are your expectations? I'm not saying you're going to get from point A to point B overnight, but what are your expectations? If you don't like living in this state, don't settle for it. You can make a change, because we can't change other people. We can only change how we react to them. We, me, I cannot change other people. I can only change how I react to them or interact with them. Interact with them is a big deal. You got to change how you interact. Okay? And somebody has to take that first step. You got to get rid of that stubbornness. You have to get rid of the stagnant. Once you start to make the changes, if you stop moving forward, you become stagnant. So don't stay stagnant. This is what's important. This is how the three S's can sabotage a relationship. Whether it's the relationship that you have with your personal savior, with whomever you believe is there, if that's what you have, whether it is the relationship that you have with yourself, whether it is the relationship that you have with your veteran, whether it is the relationship that you have with your children, whether it is the relationship you have with your boss, your friends, your family, your mother, your dog, whatever it is. Whatever it is. When we become stagnant and don't move forward, that relationship will be sabotaged. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I am going to pop off of here. This has been a great Monday. Stay motivated, y'all. Stay motivated. Go back to our Motivational Monday. What is one thing you're going to do for yourself this week? Come on, get on it. One thing you're going to do for yourself, one thing you're going to do for your veteran, and one thing you're going to do for somebody else. Keep that. Keep motivated. Think about the little things. Stop and smell the roses along the way. Motivation is key. I need to thank Melissa for doing our Sunday check-in, and we will talk way more about that. Just check in if you're available at noon on Sunday and let us know you're all right. Weekends can be hard. So that is where we are. There's a lot going on. We will keep updating things. I want y'all to have a blessed day. Thank you for being part of our community. We're loving my veteran, where it's okay to love your veteran. And this has been Walking in My Shoes. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.